What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel, where in today's video we will be covering a new theory I have about the sequel trilogy, which could go a long way in further connecting Anakin Skywalker to these movies and explaining Rey's journey, particularly in regards to how she was initially pulled into the adventure through the events of The Force Awakens. And the premise of this theory is essentially that the Force ghost of Anakin Skywalker actually selected Rey to restore balance to the Force once again after his children failed to maintain that balance that he had brought to the Force and to the galaxy at large. Now, throughout this video, I am going to be referring to the Chosen One prophecy pretty frequently, but to avoid any confusion, I just want to make it clear that I am not questioning who the Chosen One was. That title has and always will belong to Anakin Skywalker. He is the Chosen One. He did bring balance to the Force. That is a fact, and I am not here to question that. Now, with that being said, let's get started. So I'm going to try to make sure that this video is as easy as possible to follow, and in order to do that, there is some groundwork that I need to lay out first before we zero our attention in on Rey. This entire theory is predicated on the premise that, as I alluded to a moment ago, Luke and Leia, the children of the Chosen One, were meant to maintain the balance that their father had established. That was their responsibility. It was their job whether they wanted it or not. Just as Anakin was chosen for his role of restoring balance, his children and their children and all the Skywalkers that followed were now inherently chosen to maintain that balance. And that is precisely what Luke is doing for that time between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. That's what he's attempting to do when we see him in The Mandalorian. That was his intention when he was training Leia, when he trained Ben, and so on and so forth. But this entire plan begins to unravel very quietly and slowly at first, with the birth of Ben Solo. Ben is ultimately meant to carry on this legacy just as Luke and Leia are. He is the heir to the Skywalker legacy, but Palpatine's survival deep in the unknown regions throws a damper in this plan. He starts with Ben, wreaking havoc on the newborn Skywalker child. And then he manipulates Leia, convincing her to believe that her Jedi path will end in her son's death. And this is the next step. Leia surrendering her lightsaber to Luke and giving up her role as a keeper of the galaxy's peace sets the stage for Palpatine's master plan, which still will not culminate for many years. But when the time is right, the final straw is pulled as Luke Skywalker turns on his nephew. And I believe that this also could have been the work of Palpatine, as he tricked Luke to believe that Ben's decision had been made when it really hadn't. But regardless, the Force now finds itself in quite a predicament, as all three Skywalkers, every member of the family who it chose to protect the galaxy, has either fallen to the dark side or lost their way. But Anakin, now being a part of the Force itself, and being the ambitious man that he is, sees another opportunity. He knows about the little girl on Jakku, the granddaughter of his arch-enemy. She could destroy everything. With the blood of Darth Sidious running through her veins, she could seal the galaxy's fate. But Anakin sees something else, and so he chooses her to carry the torch. And this is why his lightsaber calls to her in The Force Awakens. It's possible that he chose her long before this time. It may be likely even that Anakin himself created the Force dyad between Ben and Rey to combat the return or the survival of Darth Sidious. And now, long after his grandson's fall, and now that Rey has come of age, he calls her into action, knowing that she is the key to Ben's return, the key to restoring balance, and the key to the rise of Skywalker. It could even be argued that Anakin confirmed this theory in Episode 9 when he said, "Bring balance to the Force, as I did." I think a strong argument can be made that that moment signified Anakin giving his final blessing to Rey. She is not the Chosen One by blood. She was not chosen by the Force, but by Anakin Skywalker himself. He saw what she could become and handpicked her to finish what he started, to save his grandson and to carry his family's legacy, and that's exactly what she did. Now, bear with me here because I know a lot of people hate the idea that I'm about to bring up, but I think that's because it's a largely misinterpreted concept. But this theory also makes Rey adopting the Skywalker name a more appropriate decision as well, because not only was she encouraged to do so by Luke and Leia, but she was also selected by Anakin. And that, my friends, would be some beautiful storytelling. I don't care how you feel about Rey or how you felt about Disney's handling of her character, because at the end of the day, you're entitled to feel however you want to feel, and there's nothing wrong with that. but I do believe that if this were true, and it were unveiled in a meaningful and impactful way, and when I say that, I mean it would probably need to take place in a movie, not just some line in a comic or an animated TV show, but if they were to pull that off in a way that resonated with people, I think this would be an idea that the vast majority of Star Wars fans could get behind for a number of reasons. The Skywalker family was chosen not only to restore, but also to maintain balance in the Force. And Rey's choice to overcome her dark heritage, to renounce the Palpatine name, to rid the galaxy of any remembrance of the pain that name brought, and to pass on the Skywalker legacy for generations to come is a really nice way to tie things together, in my opinion, and it opens the door to a whole new world of potential. And I think that this is something that Disney is keeping in the back of their pocket. Not necessarily this idea that I presented here about Anakin, I don't know that that ever crossed anyone's mind, but I do think the idea for Rey to pass on the name, possibly to bear Skywalker children in the future through you-know-who, and for the Skywalkers to stand as the keepers of peace and justice in the galaxy, is something they have to have at least entertained. But with that being said, I'm going to wrap things up here, so let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know what you think about this theory in regards to Anakin having chosen Rey to restore balance once again, and feel free to share any other ideas you may have as well. Let's keep the comments section here friendly, no hate, let's just appreciate Star Wars. It doesn't matter if you like the sequels or you hate them, it doesn't matter if you think Rey's a good character or not, we're all just here to enjoy Star Wars, so let's do that. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching, please remember to drop this video a like to support the channel, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and of course, may the Force be with you, always.